The most famous adaptation of Heart of Darkness is a Vietnamese play by Francis Ford Coppola, The Apocalypse Now, in which Captain Willard of Martin Sheen goes up the river to track down Colonel Kurtz, the renegade Green Beret, played with the stocking duck Marlon Brando. In 1975, a year before the filming of The Apocalypse Today, Chinua Achebe, Nigerian author of Things Fall Apart and the father of modern African literature, condemned Heart of Darkness in Conrad's famous lecture entitled The Image of Africa, Racism in Heart of Darkness, as in the Heart of Darkness. The only phrase the African speaks about is Mr. Kurtz, he is dead. Coppola attributes only one character dialogue in Vietnamese, an army translator who calls a villager dirty Viet Cong. A nightmarish journey into the psyche of a corrupt man. The Heart of Darkness is celebrated as the first modern novel and is rightly considered a pioneer work of European atrocities in Africa. The film follows Themis on a journey from Oxford to Niger to discover the terrible legacy of French Captain Paul Brouillet, whose genocidal mission in 1898 left a lasting impression on Niger and its people. Brouillet is going through the same process of moral and psychological humiliation as Kurtz in Heart of Darkness. He explains, this year's event Cinema Africa show that Africans are not yet free to define their own identity abroad. By processing the stories of the Nigerian people, the African apocalypse manages to breathe new life into the history of Conrad. In this spirit, the story is told in the free adaptation of James Gray 2019 Ad Astra, in which Africa is replaced by the solar system and places a small figure of Neptune. In fact, Heart of Darkness is not so much colonization as what happens to people with the freedom and power to humiliate others. Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness is perhaps the most famous and most discussed novel about colonialism. He eventually hired House Rio, who sang his heroism as if he were an African warrior king, and planned to build his personal empire in Africa that could compete with the French Empire. Here's a revolutionary interpretation of Conrad's novel in the form of the British documentary African Apocalypse. A man tells the story of his pregnant grandmother as she runs away from Brouillet and drags her fat belly with her father through the walls of Connie, while the villagers are killed. When Kurtz gives in to his illness, he craves horror, and Marlowe returns to London, marked by what he has seen. According to Conrad, Africa is the sewer of the world, his black savages, and every contact with them leads to infection. But this book is not exactly about Africa.